Peace, beautiful people. It's your brother teacher, Ajamu Minka Kafele. My fight for justice in the name and will of Allah. God is worth dying for. That's what it means. Back at you again with some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And let's speak on you are what you think. But let's take it a little deeper. I posted that in the Bible where it says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And this is obviously very true for anyone who's studied on the topic. It's very true, but I just wanted to speak on the fact that it's deeper. It's actually deeper than that. That is a root start of how you begin to manifest things and what you want to be. As a man thinketh, so whatever you're thinking, and it's whatever you're thinking into be, right? It's not thinking I don't want this. It's thinking about what you do want, for example. So most of us in this world has trapped us into thinking I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want that. And what you do is you attract what you don't want, because you basically keep repeating and focusing on what you don't want. And instead of focusing on what it is you do want and putting energy and focus into what it is that you do want and giving that life. Because talking about as you think in the depth of it, that is deeper, because you have to understand that matter, we're shaping matter with energy, right? Matter is a female. Matter is a female, right? Female aspect of God, if you will, of Allah. But it's a force of Allah. So it's a female. So what you're putting into it's going to give birth. That's the way it works, right? That's the way it works, because matter is a female that receives and then gives birth to that which is of your thinking. But then you gotta go even deeper, because it's not just what you're thinking. You did have to take it into what you're believing, because you can think one thing and believe another thing, right? And then you have to take it into a stance of faith or a feeling, right? Faith in the sense of a feeling, right? So you think it, you believe it, you feel it, have faith in it, okay? And then it becomes a truism. So that's why it's deeper, because you have to move beyond just the mere thought. And as you repeat thinking something, I want to be a millionaire, right? Or these days, a multi-millionaire, really. But I want to be a millionaire. So you're thinking that, right? But you're getting hit with all of these obstacles and things in life that are impending your way. And so you haven't really believed it, right? So you have to move from the thought to the belief that I want to be a millionaire, right? Then, so now you get past that and you believe I can be a millionaire. You may be doing this project, whatever, you believe I can be a millionaire. It doesn't come to pass, but you say, I believe I can be a millionaire. But then you ultimately have to move to where you have a faith or feeling of it, right? Where you're actually feeling walking into that millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is, status, whatever it is, love, marriage, happiness, whatever it is, you have to move from thought to belief, to a true belief, to a true feeling of it. You are in the existence of it. And once you move and transition into the feeling of it, that's when the truism starts to come into reality. It has to happen, as Abraham Hicks says, it has to happen. It must happen, because this is the law of the nature of when you use energy to shape matter. That is how matter is shaped. It's shaped by energy. It's shaped by the thought, but then the thought giving rise to the feeling of it, to where you're walking in it, and now matter has to mold itself around it. This is why, as a man thinketh, so is he, because as a man thinketh, or a woman, as a man thinketh, so is he. But as a man thinketh, believeth, and feels it, to the point where their imagination, they're walking into it. It's no other sense of reality. And you get to a point where there's no deterring of any, and I've done this, so I'm speaking on it. There's no deterring from any other possible reality being or coming into be. And you're totally focused and locked on to the feeling of it. And you walk into the trueness of it. This is why it's so much deeper. And you engage in that, and you create new realities for yourself in due course, in due time. You bring things into being in due course, in due time. And that's the power of meditation. And this is why I have the statement, meditate to be great. So let me add one other thing to what I said, because it's Proverbs 23:7. And what it actually says is, as a man thinketh in his heart. And this is why what I just said about you have to get the feeling of it matters, because you don't think in your heart, you think in your mind. You think in your mind, right? So most people have taken that verse and said, as a man thinketh, and they're focusing on the mind, but it says, as a man thinketh in his heart. And in the heart is where you get the feeling of it. See, and that's why you have to move to, that's why some people's like, I'm thinking it's not work, because you have to move from the thought to the belief to the feeling, faith of it. And when you have that faith, you walk into that truth. As a man thinketh in his heart, as a man believeth in his heart, as a man feels in his heart, so is he. All praises due to Allah. I love you if you're righteous, can't stand you if you ain't. Let's all go forth and be more righteous. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Peace.